as well. So we're going to try to put perspective into all this and exactly what is happening in terms of the political temperatures and the political matrix. And today we are hosting the Kajiado North Member of Parliament, Joseph Manje, who is here with us. We are also expecting Adams Oloo, who is a political analyst, who will be joining us a little bit later on the show. They'll be speaking to Mutegi Njau, and we welcome your views, comments and suggestions on the same. The number is 22422. That number again is 22422, and on Twitter the hashtag remains Power Breakfast. Mutegi?
Thank you. Muzuri sana Mutegi Njau.
Let me say I come from Kajiado North and I vote Kajiado North.
Oh.
So that people might not think I'm from Meru.
Thank you.
Now, Bwana Mheshimiwa, there is the plan by the Independent Electoral Commission, Boundary and Electoral Commission, to register voters from next month.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a new Chief Executive, Ezra Chebba. But there are some people who think the Electoral Commission is, the current Electoral Commission, may not be trusted to do a good job. In fact, the court is suggesting that we postpone the voter registration because they think, according to the court chairman, it is skewed in favor of Jubilee. What is your thinking?
Thank you, Mutegi Njau. And first, thank you to know that you vote in my constituency. Welcome, and I want to also take this opportunity to say thank you to the people of Kajiado North, who we have been working together all along. Let me say this. Registration of voters is a continuous process. It has been going on. It is only that now they want to hype it and do it for 1 month comprehensively. Otherwise, it is something that has been going on all along, and there is budget provision for that. We normally appropriate some money for that particular episode. But currently, what the opposition is saying is that maybe there is rigging that the government is planning to do. Let me tell them that should not be the case. We should not be crying oof every time the government is doing something, because if we do this, then we will not develop as a country, because there is that is an independent body and it should perform according to its own program. So I tend to think let us give that institution the leeway to work and operate. If we think there is any rigging, let us register people in all the areas. So long as there is a registration clerk everywhere, then I tend to think it is neutral. It's an independent body. And I have a lot of trust with Ezra, the new CEO. And also, another thing that I want to tell Kenyans is that this is an election body that was there in the previous government, and it did an election, despite the challenges that were there. You know, Kenya is a very sensitive area where the voters turnout during the election is over 80%, which is very unique in majority democracies. So to manage that, then there is an issue. We need all of us Kenyans coming together and see how can we be performing good election. Because the danger will be, if after every election we remove the body, the electoral body, then we will never grow as a country. What we need to do is to change time and again, to rectify where we went wrong, then we improve.
One of the requirements, the demands that the court is making is during the call for referendum is that the Electoral Commission must be changed. They have no confidence in them. How do we, you know, for a game to be played and losers accept, you must accept the referee and the rules. Now, they don't trust the Electoral Commission as it is now.
But who put that Electoral Commission in position? Are they not the one? You know, it was put during the previous government where the court reader had a half stake of the government, and there are some commissioners who he put in place. When it comes to the workers, the maneuvers, the people who operate are still intact. All right? So it is the organization that we had in the previous government that was put by him and his colleague that we are using to go. And this is more experienced. If you change the referee at this particular point and you put somebody who does not know how to blow the whistle, then you are likely to lose. What we know is that the current chairman knows very well where he went wrong, all right? And there is a chance of improving, all right? We should accept that we are all running and we can improve. We can do better from what we do previously. So I tend to think this is the correct position. We should not change at this particular time. We better change after the election.
Court seems, you know, considering the petition that Raila filed in the court, they claim that the Electoral Commission as it is now favored through technical, through the computers. They favored Jubilee, they favored the president.
Mr. Mutegi, how does it do that, and yet these are Kenyans? If we remove these people, we'll put other Kenyans. Kenyans are Kenyans, all right? Whatever the people you'll get, so long as they are Kenyans, they will remain Kenyans. What we should do is to improve those Kenyans, because they are Kenyans at the end of the day. So you should have trust with your own bodies in this country, because if you have a habit of not accepting everybody, if you have a habit of expecting the worst, you'll always get the worst. Let me tell you, Mutegi, if you are somebody who believes on seeing the wrong side of everything, you'll never grow, because everything to you will look bad. I tend to think, let us know these are Kenyans, and we have an election body that we have to improve gradually until we'll say this is the correct one, all right? Because like the previous Electoral Commission, they really did it, apart from now the transmission of the results. Yeah. Otherwise, they really tried, and everybody was happy, especially the registration. Remember what they did? They registered within 1 month. 1 month, they were able to register about 14 million, all right? And Kenyans were told to check their names. I remember sending my name through the SMS, and I got returned that I'm registered in my polling station, Remerepo polling station. And all Kenyans did that within 1 month. So I tend to think when it came to registration and having the register, they did very well.
Is there justification for fear that certain areas may be denied BVR, the voter registration kits, and also be denied identity cards, so that you skew the way they are claiming that is it possible to give less equipment to certain areas and give less identity cards so that those areas don't vote?
Let me tell you, according to me, there is no such a plan. Furthermore, who will do that plan? Who will have that common plan of doing that? Because we know if somebody wants an ID today, he will go to the nearest registration center and call for an ID, all right? If I am in my area today and I want somebody to go and get an ID, I'll just inform the person, go to the DC's place, the former DC's place, I'm at the DEO's place, and register through your chief and register and wait for the ID. I know there are those challenges that are normally there in the public sector, and it is a well-known fact because the people who are operating are Kenyans, all right? So I don't think there's anybody who can come with such a plan, because in the first place, it will not work, because it's an independent body that has people on the ground. And let me tell you, these people, if you take the list of the people who registers, are all Kenyans from all the tribes. You cannot be told, don't register somebody from a certain tribe. Who will do that? Can Uhuru say that? No, he can't. So it is a fear, and preferred fear. You know, these are people who are used to making fear every time, all right? Let them settle. Let them tell people, go and register. And at the end of the day, the people will be registered. Otherwise, they should not fear at all.
The president went to Mombasa.
Yes.
And William Ruto has been in Western Kenya.
Yes.
It looks like this year is going to be a hot campaign year. And there are complaints that we are reading, Jubilee is reading Conde areas, and Conde is trying to retaliate to do radio areas, including Central Mount Kenya area. These campaigns, are they healthy for your economy, or for the country's economy? This heightening of campaigning a year before. The elections are in August next year. Yes.
That's true. Let me say personally, at a normal situation, it should not start early, because it will distort the agitation of what people are doing. For example, if you come to my constituency, I've been building schools all along. If you bring a lot of politics, then you will divert my attention from constructing more schools and development and go towards election. But having said that, you know, political stability of a country also is very important. As you can see in the Jubilee, because I know what is happening inside, there has been this fragmentation of political parties. And what Uhuru and Ruto are doing, they want to bring Kenyans together along that line, such that we have one very good political movement called Jubilee Party, and they called to have another strong movement so that we can have good competition of politics that are based on ideology or facts, as opposed to the current arrangement. You know, Mr. Mutegi, in 2002, two things happened, one good one and one bad one. 2002, when Kano was defeated. The good one is that we removed people who were rooting the country and all that, people who had made the country stagnate for so many years. That is a good thing, and then we went to multi-party. The worst thing that we did is that we defeated a mass movement. We defeated Kano that was entrenched the whole country. All right? That was a very bad thing that we did, and from that time, anytime you try to make a political party, it is take the dimension of a certain area. For example, if you take URP, it is a party belonging to the Rift Valley with some few punches here of Coast, Northeastern, and other places. So it is not national the way it is. When you come to TNA, it is more of Central and Masai Land area as opposed to all the other part of the country. UDF, the others, the UDF is in the western part. So what His Excellency, the President, the Deputy President have done, they have thought, why don't we bring all Kenyans together, we put them in the same area, then we move forward together as a nation. And that way, we are going to develop politically as a country. Because what we have today, we have not developed politically. We have developed in other sectors in the country. For example, if you check the economy of this country, to some extent it has developed, because where we were 10 years, 15 years ago is not where we are today. If you go to Nairobi, you will see the changes. People are driving the latest model. If you go to many areas, you will find that we have developed along that line. Academically, we have so many educated people in the country. We have a very good pool of educated people. But politically, we are still in the basics.
Yeah, political parties are just vehicles. Yes. For elections, after elections, you abandon them. Kebaki did the same when he formed DDP. From DP, he left, he went to another party. Yes. The same with Raila. Yes. Now with Uhuru the same. They came to power through TNA, through Jubilee. Now they want to abandon that to go to another one.
Yes, you know why, Mutegi, you know why they are doing that? Because they have realized these are fragmented parties, all right? If now they come together,
what guarantee is there that if in 2017 they form that JAP, is it called JAP?
It's GPK, Jubilee Party of Kenya.
Okay.
Not Jubilee Coalition. Now we are not forming any coalition.
It's a party.
Actually, why they are going the Jubilee Party is because they belong to different parties. If they were in the same party, then there would be no need of having another party. But now they have to tell their people, and actually they have done very well. They have done very well in uniting people, especially in the Rift Valley and Central. Let me tell you, Mr. Mutegi, you said you are from Rift Valley also, all right? During the previous election, the previous election, you will find that there was that unity of purpose in Rift Valley, all right? As opposed to the other previous elections. That is a plus to them. They came together and said they will unify people from the Rift Valley. What
guarantee is there that after Uhuru Kenyatta wins through the Jubilee Party of Kenya in 2017, that same party will survive up to the next election? Why do they not go with TNA? Why can't everybody else join TNA? Or why form another party?
Because of what I said, that the current party are based on personality, is based on tribal basis, all right?
The same thing. Would there be GPK if there were no Ruto and Uhuru?
What we want to do in that party, we want, you know, currently the parties are financed by the exchequer, all right?
Yes.
Such that, if, for example, if you check TNA is funded by the exchequer, if we had a very good system to manage that party, it will go like a corporate body, and it become a political, and we stabilize on that one. The same would happen to URP. But the danger is this one, is that the majority of people who are going to URP are from Rift Valley. The ones going to TNA are mostly from Central. Suppose we have a party like the Kanu days, all right? Suppose we have a party that is pulling towards one direction that will make Kenyans not to see each other through the tribal specs, as opposed to a streamlined on ideology and making a Kenya.
But a lot of people think that GPK is a Kalenjin Kikuyu thing.
It is not. The UDF is coming. You can see that's why Ruto and Uhuru are in Coast and Western, because they want everybody to be part and parcel of Jubilee Party, as opposed to where Ford Kenya will be by itself, URP will be by itself, then after election they form a coalition. This time we don't want a coalition. There is nothing like coalition. We want a party that is fully one party, so that we can propagate the ideology of Kenyans.
But two governors, the former chairman of the Council of Governors,
Yes.
Isaac Ruto, and Munya, the current chairman, they have said, no, we are going to form our own party. In fact, they have already formed their own parties. What do you say about that? They don't want to agree to come to that.
But you see, Mutegi, there will always be an opposition. There will always be an opposition. Even when you check your homegrown environment, if you say something, there will be somebody who will see something from a different perspective, which is healthy. Let them come and say it is not good uniting Kenyans together. If they say that and say the reasons is that I want to remain a Kalenjin, I want to remain a Kikuyu, I want to remain a Maasai, then if that is what they are saying, then it will be good for them, because they will be having some point. Then they explain why do they want to remain as Kalenjin. But when you see some people coming together for a common purpose to unite Kenyans, then we should support those people.
How come that we're not seeing the Jubilee coalition, the Jubilee Party of Kenya, making inroads in Nyanza?
At the end of the day, they'll do that. You see, what you do, even in marketing, you start with your circle of influence. If you have a product, for example, Safaricom, it started from Nairobi, because that is where the frequency is. Then after the frequency area, you go to other areas. You start from your own circle of influence, then you go up, you climb to the other sectors. And also I would advise the code families, why don't you come up with one party also, so that we can grow politically as a country, such that if I'm not in Jubilee, I go to CORD. If I'm not in CORD, I come to Jubilee, just the way the US does, so that we can grow politically, because that is the essence, all right? The essence is to grow parties that are stronger than the leaders. For example, if ODM is stronger than Raila, you know we would have a very good political movement. If Jubilee, part of Kenya, is stronger than Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Ruto, then we would have arrived to where we want to go as a country, because they will not divert the attention of the party. Just like in South Africa, you see, in South Africa, the ANC is bigger than the president.
It is very, very scary to me when you say that you want the Jubilee Party of Kenya to look like the KANU, like a strong party like KANU, because KANU has a very bad history. If you have one strong monolithic party, and if you don't belong there, then you don't belong anywhere. That's dangerous.
No, I'm not saying we should be KANU. I'm saying we should have a mass movement that had properties of KANU when it comes to political alignment and acceptance in the whole country. For example, before 2002, if you went to any part of the country, almost everybody was in KANU, all right? Nobody felt that KANU belongs to a certain tribe. You cannot say today KANU belongs to a certain tribe. No, that is the same thing that we want. We want Jubilee that does not belong to a certain tribe. That is a starting point. The other thing that we have to do is that if we don't grow politically in this country, because most development agenda is dictated by the political movement. If we don't grow politically, then this country will never grow properly to the highest height.
But African political parties are not they are not based on any philosophical or ideological differences.
Yes,
it's just tribe.
Yes, and this is what we want to change. This is what you are saying. If you listen to me properly, I said in South Africa, ANC is larger than the president, and actually it is bigger than the government itself.
Yeah.
So if Jubilee Party of Kenya becomes slightly greater, bigger than Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, then it would be having there, because what you will be fighting for as a member of parliament is to get the nomination of that particular party, not that alignment to an individual. Let me tell you, if you go to Nyanza land today and you go against Raila, you will not assent to parliament.
You can say the same about
the same central.
The same central.
The same Rift Valley.
Yes,
all right?
Yes.
But suppose you have a political party in Nyanza area that is slightly larger than Raila Odinga. Do you think you will go to him?
Of course not.
Your alignment will be to the political party, and that is where we are heading to. If today in South Africa the president goes against the wishes of the party, he will be kicked out of the party because they have grown politically.
You are a member of parliament.
Yes.
And there are certain things that the current parliament, the National Assembly particularly, has done.
Yes.
That people feel that you are particularly Jubilee members of parliament. You are returning us back to an imperial president. You have given him powers that the constitution, the makers of the constitution had wanted to claw from him. Now you want to return to the president.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Let
me give an example. The appointment of the police officers, the chief police officers,
yes,
where now he is allowed to appoint whoever he wants.
Yes.
And sack whenever he wants.
Yes. You know, the reason behind it is this, all right? We moved this country from a rule of a very strong president to somehow very strong institutions. But the political leaders, especially the opposition, is going against the creation of these institutions. For example, if we created a Chief Justice who is strong, created by the Constitution, all right, and you expect the president to perform the duty of the CJ, and he does not have the powers, then what do you do? If you create an institution and say this police will be independent, all right, this police will be independent, and yet instead of concentrating on that institution, you are concentrating on the president. Then you are telling the president, then you should have this power to do this and that. For example, if the president cannot command the inspector general, and you expect him to perform along that line, which role now do you have? How do you do that as a president? You see, you should say this. In the new constitution, we brought institutions. Let us concentrate on the institution. For example, let me give you an example that Kenyans will understand. All right. For example, the anti-corruption bodies. All right. The president came to parliament to state the state of the nation, and you know what, Mutegi? Kenyans really appreciated what he did. As members of parliament, in the government, in the opposition, senators also, we stood 3 times. We gave our president standing ovation that he has stated the correct thing, and he has given the culprits. All right. Then it was the work of the Anti-Corruption Commission and the DPP to take over from the president and run with that. All right. But now, if the DPP, for example, or anti-corruption is not performing, then they come back to the president. And the president has done his duty. The president cannot be the chairman of the Anti-Corruption Commission. He cannot be DPP. He has done his work. Let them do his work. Let the opposition concentrate on that institution that we put in place so that we can see the effect of everybody. They expect one person who is Uhuru to do everything, to be a policeman, to do that. No, this is not correct. Let us concentrate on the institutions that we put in place under the Constitution.
Welcome, Mr. Oloo.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry you're late a little bit. But
yeah, the jam.
You joined the debate, as it is. We were discussing about the creation of an imperial president, according to some observers, that Parliament, and he's a member of Parliament, has given powers to the president that the Constitution and the makers of the Constitution and wanted to withdraw from him. Now they're returning to him. What is the justification?
Well, basically, it's not only the makers, it is Kenyans. Kenyans know where they came from. If you go to the 1963 Constitution, it was a very liberal document. But what did the first regime do? Take away the checks and balances that had been created in the Constitution. And by 1969, 1966, you had an imperial presidency, basically a presidency standing above the other institutions that were supposed to check and balance it. In this case, the legislature and the judiciary. You know, the amendments that would also come in the 1980s to take away the security of tenure of judges, because they realized that the first regime had left the judiciary intact, and the judiciary was now checking the executive. And therefore, you had an attorney general who was now going to Parliament that you can't give the president with one hand and take away with another hand.
I remember very well.
Exactly, Matthew Modi. The whole idea why you have the executive is to implement policies and laws. The legislature is to make laws and policy. The judiciary is to interpret laws and policy. And that doctrine of separation of powers, which I prefer to refer to because times change, the doctrine of mutual control and accountability, is that you shouldn't have one institution, one individual standing above the rest. Because if that happens, then you have an autocrat. You have somebody who is above the law.
What would you say about his argument that the president claims that my hands are tied? I cannot be commander-in-chief if I cannot command the Inspector General of Police?
Look, you have to ask yourself, why did Kenyans change this constitution? What mischief were they trying to cure? The mischief they were trying to cure is where you have a president who can wake up and in the 1 o'clock news says so-and-so has gone home. And therefore, you had a president who was basically, if you don't follow what I want you to do, you'll go home. What Kenyans now wanted, that you create an institution and the person who occupies that institution follows the law, follows the policies. Now, is there a situation...
If the president...
Is there a situation in which you can have such a person who is appointed to follow the law and policy and is not doing so? Yes, it's possible. Has it happened in our country? No. So what's the fear? What's the fear? We have not had an Inspector General who doesn't listen to the president, have we? So what are you curing? What are you afraid of?
He has given an example.
Yeah, I can give an example. It's good that you have brought that point. For example, the Chief Justice, we know very well he has an institution to take care of, all right? If a case is taken to court, all right, and he does not prosecute to the conclusion, who is blamed? The president.
Has it happened?
It has happened.
Well, give us an example.
It has happened.
Which one?
Why have Kenyans seen there is no justice that is taking place? Because it's because there are so many pending cases that has not gone on for all this wrong. All right. The problem would be this, and why the president.
So the president in the new dispensation will be ordering the Chief Justice fast track this case.
Not ordering. I'm saying the thing is, if as Kenyans direct our attention to the institutions that have been given that responsibility, then the president has no problem Because if
What problem does he have now?
today
Yes.
is because if something happens in a certain institution that is constitutional, the blame comes to him.
No, but Kenyans have blamed everywhere. In fact, the judiciary was one of the most highly, if you went to opinion polls immediately after 2010, and when you had the vetting process and so on, the judiciary was one of the most highly ranked institutions. Of course, with time, that has started to change, not because they are not performing per se, but because of some cases that came before it. But look, when you went to the vetting process, which the new constitution provided for transitional purposes, most of the judges who went home, and very senior judges at that, were sent home because of giving politically correct judgments under the old dispensation. Is that where you want to take us back to?
What do you say to the fact that the opposition blames the president for insecurity?
Yes. Look,
That's the argument he's saying. Why blame the president and he's not
let me give you
Inspector General
examples.
Police?
Let me give you examples of
And the
where.
Inspector General Police is
Yeah, let me give you examples where the president has been blamed for insecurity. Let's go to Westgate, for example. When Westgate occurred, every Kenyan will recall that the president immediately on national television said that a commission of inquiry was going to be informed to go to the root causes why Westgate occurred. Have we had that commission of inquiry? No.
it was not the cause.
Yes, but why did he back out? Because we want to go to the root of the cause of the problem. You've told the whole country that there's a commission of inquiry which is going to be formed. When you back out, we start asking ourselves.
But there was
Let me just finish.
there was an inquiry from the Parliament.
But
Parliament did.
Who controls Parliament?
The Parliament controls itself.
No. Jubilee controls Parliament.
The president can say, why do another investigation when
That was the reason used, but that was now because they don't want to get to the root cause of
Why
it.
not?
Okay. Let me give you another example.
Okay.
Peketonio card. The president again came out on national television in State House and blamed the opposition. When finally the chips fell down, we knew, and from intelligence from different countries, that it was Al-Shabaab. Yet he was blaming the opposition, and he never retracted. So you can see where the opposition is coming.
Okay, Mutegi, let me say this because I'm in Parliament and I know what happens, all right? When the president wanted, he said he would put the commission in place. Do you know what Kenyans were saying? Just like in other commission. They say we have been putting up so many commissions, and yet what is what comes out of the commission is never implemented, all right? Many Kenyans say that
when Parliament brings usually implement.
Let me finish because you'll get my point of argument, all right? Then there are these institutions created by the Constitution, all right? We have Parliament, all right? Why don't you let the parliamentary committee do the investigation? Actually, what he said was an intention where he could have gone if he was a strong president the way it was previously. Because Kenyans are used to very strong president who is saying everything and Kenyans will follow that. Kenyans have not known that now we don't have a strong president, we have strong institutions. What they could have done is to go to the institutions. All right? Because the president is there to give direction. All right?
Yes.
When he said, I want this commission, all right, we'll do the commission. All right, but also there are other, according to the new constitution, that should take course.
Can I ask you a question? Are you okay with the report that was given by the Security Committee of Parliament on Westgate?
But we refuse that commission.
Same.
I contributed.
That's why I'm point.
Yes.
That you don't have the capacity to do such an inquiry. Therefore, it needed a more elaborate commission of inquiry with experts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who was to do that?
Of course, the president said he has the power to appoint such a commission. In fact, we are saying that the president has been hamstringed. The president still has so many powers which is not utilized.
You see, what we are saying, if we want to go the independent way, the constitution way, even Parliament itself, like that committee should have been factual, all right? Should have been factual and brought the real points that Kenyans wanted, all right? And that, unless we go to that point, Kenyans will expect the president to be scoring the points, to be moving the country to a certain direction. But then the problem would be this, all right? We are moving from the strong president to the institutions, but yet people still believe it is the president to move these institutions.
No, look here. You see, you can have institutions, but the president is still there. Look at the American Constitution.
Yes.
In fact, the American president is usually referred to as the most powerful man on earth.
Yes.
Yet he has institutions that check and balance that powerfulness of his.
Yes.
And that's what we are saying, that even in Kenya, you still have a powerful president. But it's not a president a la the Jomo Kenyatta, a la the Daniel Moyes, who didn't have any check and balance. And that's what the institutions that were created were meant to do. Don't give him a blank check. When I give you a check and I leave it blank, you can write anything you want on it and go and get it. That's what Kenyans don't want, a president with a blank check.
What about the president the other day was in Mombasa, and for 16 days he stayed there. He never talked to the governor. And the governor was furious. Even he wrote, before even the last minute, he had already said in the newspaper, they are just moving around. I don't even know where they are. According to you, who is a member of parliament, suppose you are the governor of Mombasa, and you are, whether you are ODM or Jubilee or whatever, is it right for the president to go to a county and completely ignore the governor? Even at the airport, he was not welcome to go and welcome him.
To me, it is not correct. It is not good. But if I was the governor, what I would be asking myself, why did he do that? Why was I not involved? Because before maybe the people who arrange that ignore the governor, they must be been having 1, 2 things that he did not want to associate with. You see, a president is somebody who is taken on a certain direction, just the way the president of the United States, if he comes here, he cannot come here and say, I want to go to Siaya, where my auntie is. He has to be directed where to go according to the status of that particular point and that particular time. So he should reflect on himself. Why did the president come here and not consult me? All right? That should be the biggest thing. Otherwise, to me, it is not good, and that one will not unify the country, because at the end of the day, we should avoid hard-hitting politics, because if you hit somebody, he is likely to hit back. However strong the hitting back is a hit back.
But we heard you have 2 senators who took a chance when the president was there to hurl abuse or to criticize the governor.
Yes.
And I think, I don't know whether you think about that also, that the president said nothing about it,
yes,
but his lieutenants, they took advantage of the president there to abuse the governor.
I wish they can mature like our president. Do you know our president had never abused anybody in the public? But the thing is, all right, these other people, they will do that because that is the setup. But what I can tell my fellow politician is that we are making Kenyans to be a very hard society. Do you know even the matatu drivers behave the way we behave because of taking very hard lines? Do you know there are people who believe that if you abuse a certain tribe or a certain person, you become a hero? Like now, do you know Joho is becoming a hero in those areas and in Eastern? But this is a foolish heroism, because you are becoming a hero by disobeying your president. You are wishing your president to fail. Just what President Obama said. If you wish your president to fail, you are wishing your country to fail. Why do you want to get that heroism by disobeying your president? By telling Kenyans you can disobey your president? This is not very good for the country.
What do you think, Mr. Hall, about that?
You see, the president is the president of the whole country. The governor is the governor of a county. His jurisdiction of governance is only the county. The jurisdiction of governance for the president is the whole country. And that's why under Article 6(2) of the Constitution, the Constitution is very clear on how the national government and the county governments should relate. And it is one of cooperation and mutual consultation. And therefore, when the president goes to Mombasa and he doesn't choose to consult, he doesn't choose to cooperate, then it's going against the spirit of Article 6.2. And remember that the trend has been that, and you have seen everywhere the president, except for this occasion, everywhere the president has gone since he was sworn into office in 2013, whether it is in Jubilee strongholds or whether it is in court strongholds, the governor and senators and MPs have always been there to welcome him and go around with him, because he's the symbol of nationhood. He's the symbol of one strong, united nation, but with county government. But when now they choose to ignore...
This MP, Mr. Manje is saying, there must be a reason.
Well, if your reason is that the governor of Mombasa is so strongly for his court coalition, that is right. He belongs to a party. He belongs to a coalition. The fact that he's the head of the county government doesn't mean that he now shies away from pushing the agenda of his county. And I will challenge the Mheshimiwa to say, what had Governor Joho done which has made the president, because it seems he's taking that line that Joho should ask himself why the president had snubbed him. What is it that Joho had done which is wrong, which made the president snub him? Maybe Kenyans might want to know.
Maybe let me tell you, Mutegi. The thing is, Joho knew very well the president is coming. It happens. And if he did not know, then he does not have machinery.
It's not that he did not know. He said he was ignored. You see, when the president is in town and you are an MP, the president has these protocol people. You just don't go without you.
But he's the governor. He couldn't have gone.
No, but do you want a situation in which, as a governor, you go to the airport and the security men are pushing you aside?
You go to the airport to welcome the president.
Well, that one only Joho can answer.
Let me tell you what happens, because I'm a member of parliament and I have a constituency and ward, the MCs, I have MCs in various places. Do you know if, for example, I go to church to a certain ward, all right, and maybe my people did not inform the MCA I'm coming to that ward, they will blame me for that. You know, they will start blaming me for that. The thing is, and I have told them, if I'm coming to your church and you hear Mheshimiwa is in your church, it is your responsibility to come, because at the end of the day, if you are there, I'll give you a chance to speak. Because I might be going there, I might not remember whether you were consulted. If Joho knew the president is coming to the airport, he should have been the first one to welcome him, regardless of what is happening, because he's the governor
again, I can't speak.
Let me tell you, because I'm a politician. Because
at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, he's the governor of Mombasa.
Yeah, and
he'll be the last person to speak. And maybe.
But let me ask you. And this is not the first time that the president is going to Mombasa. And again, I said I can't hold brief for Governor Joho. If the trend has been that since 2013, and I'm just using a hypothesis, I don't know the facts, if the trend has been that every time the president has been going to the Mombasa, Governor Joho's office has been getting some signal from the office of the president will be arriving at this time, blah, 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 and all that. And this time around, and again I'm being hypothetical, this time around that signal wasn't sent. Wouldn't he get the signal that I'm not wanted? Is it not natural? And again, I'm not saying that that is what happened. Yeah.
No, I cannot speak for that office, because there are relevant people to say that. But what I know, the protocol of the president, if he's going to appraise, he makes sure that he informs the political part. There are those people who will do that, because he has a political wing of informing the politician. But if it happens, for example, my president is coming to my constituency, you see, you know, it will be my failure not to fit into the system.
Let me give you an example. When the president is going to a national day like Nairobi, the governor of Nairobi just doesn't go there. He's told this is the protocol, you'll speak before. I mean, it's always done. And to me, again, I'm talking hypothetically, it looks like this time Governor Joho was given a blackout.
Let's forget about that, because it is a hypothesis. Let's go to real things. And the real thing I want to talk about is about this business of wooing leaders. I told them before that Jubilee wants to take us back to Kanu days. One way of they're showing that is when you have leaders from various tribes going to visit the deputy president. You have some from Kisii the other day, some went, some didn't go. You had some from Western. So delegations of people the way Moi used to do. Isn't that loyalty? In fact, in today's paper, there are some certain governors are told you did not go to those. The prayers were for Ruto. They went to Narok, and they were saying some governors were not there. And if you are not there, in fact, one MP said, if you are not with us, you are an enemy. Isn't that returning us back to Kanu?
What I'm saying is this: we have to make a mass movement in this country. We have to remove this fragmented opposition, all right, and form one party that everybody will be in that party.
But how do you do it?
You use any method. The best method, actually, the African setup, is to do what is doing. Even you invite visitors in your praise. We do the same thing, all right? Like if I want to talk to opinion leaders, to tell them I'll be moving towards this direction, I have to call people to my praise. Like now, if we are moving from this united front, TNA, URP, and we want to form Jubilee Party, that belongs to most of the tribes, of almost the tribe if possible, I have to call the opinion leaders of a certain region who makes decisions that praise, let them come because they'll feel appreciated. Then I tell them the reason why we want to go this way and not through the URP side. And the best way is call the member of parliament, call the leaders. Even us from the Masai the counties, Narok, Kajiado, Transmara, and Saburu, we will be going there when he comes back from Hague, all right? We will meet him, the 3 counties, so that we can hear what he has to tell us about the margin. Not that we are going there to be, since he has invited us, we have to go there and hear what he has for the development of this country. That's natural. That's how you involve people.
How do you see it?
Well, you see, first let me say
I'm
that...
not saying Raila calling people in his home to be cooked food for.
And I'm not going to approach it that way. You see, Jubilee and the deputy president have a constitutional right. Whether they want to form one party, it is their right. And therefore, the issue of them forming one party should not be the issue. For me, the issue is the approach they are using. And they are saying that we want to create a party that unites all Kenyans. Yet, a party is an institution. A party is not an individual. Yet you have delegations, as you have correctly saying, going to pledge loyalty to an individual. To me, that's where the problem is.
They are saying so that if you don't come,
yes,
then you are not.
Exactly.
If you don't come for the prayers,
yeah,
if you don't come to that
personal rule,
yeah, yeah,
at the fate of institutional rule. And you see, he says that these are opinion leaders. And I can tell you, Mheshimiwa, statistics are never wrong. In any given elections in Kenya, more than 2/3 of MPs usually go home. You can go and check. So these people whom we are calling opinion shapers, 2/3 of them are going home. That's number one. Number two, if these people are really meant to come and represent the interests of their people, why are you paying for them transport? Some were complaining yesterday that they were only paid 2,000. If indeed they are coming on their own volition to listen to you, why are you paying for them to come? Are you buying them in order for them to come? Number three, if your intention is to build national cohesion, why are you saying Kisii come today, Kakamega come today, by your own admission, Masais come tomorrow? Aren't you simply saying that you will be in one party but pockets of tribal alliance as opposed to Kenya's motive.
That's how Kenya is.
Yeah? So why are you not giving us the example of best practices? CCM in Tanzania, ANC in South Africa. Those are the mass movements that you can talk about coming from the ground, where the Inkatha Freedom Party is for the Zulus, yet the president of ANC is a Zulu. That's when you are doing away with ethnicity. Not in this case in which it is just psychological charade.
Yes, but what happens is this, all right? We have to have political movers, you know. A certain shape will always be taken to a certain direction through effort of some individuals. Left alone, it will never take that direction, all right? Before you came, I told him of the mistake that we made in 2002. Apart from winning that election, we won and defeated the Kano, but we broke a national movement that was felt everywhere. Everybody was Kano everywhere. You could not have associated Kano with a particular tribe, all right? So what these two gentlemen are doing, His Excellency the President and the Deputy President, is they want to bring Kenyans together in one direction. And if court also does the same and bring other Kenyans together, we will have very good movement that will make this country grow politically, because we have not grown politically.
I can tell you, what he's saying is neither here nor there.
Why?
Kenyans have already naturally coalesced around two movements. If you go to 2002 that he's talking about, there are basically three parties competing. There was KANU, there was NAC, and there was Ford People. Ford People came a distant third, which meant that Kenyans were either in KANU or NAC. Come to 2007, there was ODM, there was PNU, and there was ODM Kenya. ODM Kenya came a distant third, which means you are either in ODM or you are in PNU. Come to 2013, there was Jubilee, there was CORD, and there was Manje. Manje came a distant third. And therefore, Kenyans had already decided it's either Jubilee or CORD. You don't have to go and recreate the wheel. Kenyans have already decided on this thing. They just have a different agenda. It's not about having two strong movements. The last three elections have already demonstrated that it is always a two-horse race in Kenya. And statistics don't lie. Is there anything I've said which is not factual there?
But you see, there were two, but when it comes to the paperwork, they were different, because we had URP, you had TNA, UDF, NAC Kenya.
But there are
so many. Why do we have coalition? Why don't we have two parties? Because when there is a coalition, that is when you have...
What difference would it make?
The difference is this: you'll be having coalition of tribes.
What about a one party that has different tribes, the way you are going there, Maasais, Kisis? So if you are just inside there, remember, let me tell you, because I study these things. When you had the so-called one-party state of Kano, whether de facto or de jure, if I can just take you to the most recent history, the way Moi used to distribute those positions. The president was a Kalenjin, which means him as the president. The vice president of the party and the country was a Kikuyu, until it was messed up with Saitoti being a Maasai politically. The chairmanship was always a Luo. It was either Kiki Amayo or Ole Ringo, and so on. The Secretary General, until it was messed up by the Saitoti entry as a Maasai, was always a Luya. It was either Budamba Mudavadi or Burudi Nabwera. The National Organizing Secretary was always a Kamba. The treasurer was always a Maasai, either Tipis or Rolentimama, and so on. The assistant was always a Somali. So you are pretending that you are one party, but with tribal conglomerations within it. And you are going to do nothing different from that.
Isn't that okay, because you're having what is called the Feast of Kind?
face of Kenya, yes, but a face of Kenya that is not real. Why doesn't CCM have a particular position for Mnyamwezi, for Msukuma, for so and so? Why doesn't ANC have a particular position for Azosa? I mean, why?
Even them, they must have a national outlook of their party.
National outlook, but real competition from within, not reserved positions for a particular tribe. That's how you build cohesion. By having a mass that is not based on an identity, the way they are going, but based on an idea. When somebody joins CCM, it is the idea of CCM. It is the idea of the ANC, not the identity.
You see, it was monolithic until now. They didn't have any opposition until the
But you can rest assured that the kind of ethnicity we have in this country, yes, you are right, that Nyerere created a one-party system, but not to harness his position as the president, but to unite the country. So yes, he will post the one-party system, but for the common good of Tanzanians. And you can rest assured that at least Tanzanians healed in terms of ethnicity. It was rearing its way back.
It is.
Yeah, but at least when Nyerere was there, and that's why Tanzanians had created.
And even South Africa.
Yeah. And it's because the visionary leaders, in terms of Nyerere and Mandela, have not had the same match. So it's understandable that there will be those one step forward and two steps backward.
Let me tell you, maybe they have not reached where we have reached. You might think
we have reached where we have reached because of leadership problem.
Let me tell you, not that. Yeah. Let me tell you, we are ahead of them very far.
No,
right? They have not. Let me tell you what happens. Their politics is based on docile movements. All right? They have not stood up to realize what we have realized.
What have we realized?
We have realized that we belong to different tribes without cheating each other in Kenyans. All right? We have gone to there, we have fought politically to get what we are. Them, they have not started. It is this time now, during the last election, they have realized we can go against such a person. So I'm telling you, give them 10, 20 years. They will be where we will be.
That prediction of yours will fall flat.
It might.
Maybe if Mutegi Njau is still there, let's come and.
They are where.
Well, but the trend is there.
They are there.
Did you see not Rwasa defecting?
Look,
the concept of defecting was not there in Tanzania. But
that's true. That's true. And you have to ask yourself.
I must agree with him.
Yeah, and you have to ask yourself.
Yes.
Even as you agree with him, and I agree with you on that.
Yes.
That why was it that Magufuli went there? Nipigie kura. Nipigie mimi Magufuli. Why was he trying to avoid CCM? Because CCM had run away from the vision of Nyerere. And therefore he had to get into office first before taking CCM back to that vision of Nyerere. Simple, plain fact.
I am telling you,
so you agree with
give them.
I am saying, and I think I was the first to admit,
yes, okay,
that the unity that Nyerere had created had started to give in.
Why are you using past tense?
Yeah?
Why are you using past tense? It means it is going on.
And
what you saw this year will be extended next election.
No, one thing I can assure you is that the monolith dominance of CCM that it had before will never be there again in Tanzania.
That's what he said. But that's a fact, exactly what he said.
But what I'm saying is that that competition will not be clearly delineated along ethnic lines the way it's usually in Kenya. That's my point.
I can assure you, and bear me witness, you will see it maybe 30, 40 years to come.
If you will be there.
If I'll be there.
Yeah.
It will require them so many years to be where we are. Remember, we are very
you are talking of us as if what we have experienced is something worth talking home about. I think we are the bad example that somebody shouldn't use even to say that, to realize what we are.
Well, we are not like the Rwanda.
Rwanda is worse than us, but the way he is talking is as if what has been happening in Kenya, where our politics has a poverty of ideas in it, and it's just about identity, is something to celebrate. And that's what I have a problem with.
I want to advance this argument. If you look at Uganda, the only reason why they are like that is because of the dictatorship of Museveni.
Yeah, but you have to go to why did it, and
they were more democratic during what time?
No, look here. Even if you go to Uganda and you go how the alliance of the UPC and Kabaka came about against the Democratic Party, and it was based on a constitutional arrangement that the Kabaka, who had the support of the Baganda or loyalty of the Baganda, was going to be a head of state.
Yeah.
And Obote, who had a collection of support from different ethnic groups under the UPC, was going to be the prime minister. Where did the rain start beating Uganda? Was when Obote went to invade the Kabaka's palace. In order, he was not now okay with the Kabaka being a head of state. He wanted to collapse the position of head of state and head of government in his office, which he did. And once he did that, he started taking the country in the wrong direction. And then the military came in. And when the military comes in, they don't go back to the barracks.
Let's talk about post-Museveni time.
Yes.
Then about the history of that history too.
Yeah.
What about now when Museveni took over?
You see, Museveni, if you go back again, you know, history tells you what you'll see ahead. When Museveni, you have to remember, when he came through a guerrilla warfare and the national resistance movement. And his argument, once he got into power, was that it is the different political parties that have made us have civil wars. And therefore, I'm going to have a no-party movement. Instead, what did he do? He created what he called resistant councils, all the way to the grassroots. Later, he said, I'm allowing political parties, but they won't have to participate in politics.
The point we want to make, he wants to make is this, which I'm trying to establish.
Yeah.
He says we are better off.
Better off
than Uganda.
Than who?
Than Uganda. The way they are now.
What I'm saying, we haven't experienced a military coup the way Uganda experienced, so I don't think that is a good comparison. You should compare us with a country that has not experienced a military coup. That's what good comparison is all about. You compare likes. You don't compare oranges and mangoes.
Let me tell you, where they are in terms of civilization is different from where we are. Where Tanzania is today in the civilization of political movement and democracy, they are far behind. Actually, even they are where maybe we were during the Moist time. All right? Maybe that's where they are. By the time they will realize...
Remember our time was not
okay, give me a chance so that you can understand. Machinery. Because what happens is this. In development of civilization, all right, there is a stage of that is reached by populace, such that they are obedient to the rulers, all right? But it reaches a place where now the democracy is there, where we have reached, such that you can stand and say this is doing this because of this. Do you know in many countries in the world, people cannot stand and say something against the president of a country? But here you see what happens.
Is that where you want to take us?
No, that's what I'm saying. We are developed as a democracy because you can do that and present your points.
Through blood and sweat.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, not by one people, by many people, all right? And that is why even Kenyans have fought.
Don't make it look like that we have been given this democracy on a silver platter. Kenyans fought, died, were detained.
Given by who?
The people got it themselves.
From who?
Of course, you forced the regime in power to give it.
Yes, and what we are saying...
Like Moi was forced to give it.
But Moi was also a Kenyans. We are the people who had given him that power.
We didn't give him, we took it.
This is what we are saying is part of the civilization at this particular time. We were obeying him. Why we were not obeying him?
We were using the state machinery to suppress us.
The point we are making is this. We wrote a constitution in 2010.
Yes.
You parliament, you National Assembly, you want, and some of them are very young lawyers, professors of law in the universities. They want now to give that power, which he denied, which Moi had, want to return it, to give it to Uhuru.
We don't want to allow that one. And
that
is very bad. No, what is happening is this, and I wish you understand the position, all right? Like to fight corruption, all right? And I have stated it very well. The president came to parliament and said, this is what I have from the investigators.
But soon after that, wasn't the National the Ethics Anti-Corruption Commission emasculated? They sacked the people. or they force them to resign.
So
what could they do?
And that is the movement. Now, it is the institution. If the DPP came out also strongly and tracked the people, all right, here is the evidence. You know, I sit in Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, all right, and there are those glaring evidence that this person is corrupt. And at times we recommend to the DPP, prosecute this one because we have evidence, and it is there. It is in the website. Why can't they
hit the nail on the head? The president went to Parliament and gave a list given by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes.
A week later, his lieutenants, we were told, Samuel Chepkonga, the head of the Legal Affairs Committee, and Abdikadir, his constitutional advisor, had already summoned a commissioner, separating them like prisoners. You, we are going to make you this. You, we are going to make you this. Why? Yet it's the same list he was using in Parliament.
Anyway, I don't think we have the time to continue this bit. We have to stop there because we have some gymnastics to do here. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I will continue this debate another time.
Thank you.